welcome back to a bit more Hexarchy, as today is going to be a long video where the main goal is to play through another round of Global Hegemon, although I want to get my rank a little bit higher on the leaderboard, so I'm going to be accepting any multiplayer that show up, with the note that I put a message in Discord asking for people to ping me if really experienced players show up. If a queue shows up and I don't get the ping or a message there, then I might not accept it. As in order to get a lot of rating points on multiplayer, you have to play against the really good players. Most of them are hanging out on the official Discord and at least glance at the multiplayer chat every game or two. So hopefully a game will show up on here, but the main reason is since the last video, apparently China's fallen behind a little bit on the global power ratings. The early runs that you put in on Sunday encourage a lot of people to follow after you and also put runs on those same civilizations, because it turns out that people like winning. So from last time we checked, there was less than 20 runs total across the world. Now there are 65 runs on China alone and another 63 on. We're currently trailing to my old main. Reason to play China this week in Global Hegemon was to try and not play Russia, and apparently that was a mistake already. But 63 runs, 65 runs, the difference in these scores comes down primarily just due to the average score per run. So let's see if we can pump these numbers up. I normally don't like playing on hardest spots, but as big as a score multiplier as I can get is how we're going to catch up to Russia this week. So the big thing to get a really high score is to try and outpace the scoring system. So runs start with 1,000 points, you lose 10 per turn, and then get back all the victory points you earned. So if you can get more than 10 victory points a turn, then you actually end up coming out ahead even if you ignore the objective. Notably, virtually every campaign has an alternate objective of just reach 200 victory points. So if you can do that before turn 20, you end up coming out ahead. So on this campaign, it's possible, as long as you don't have your economy insane, to just avoid this one until you get well above the turn count. So this is the only one that you can't really cheese out the 200 victory point one. This one, you can grief the bots by not actually eliminating them. So let's see if I can do this as slowly as possible in what's going to probably end up being a 3-hour video intercut with hopefully a multiplayer game in the center of it, as I left a little message hanging in Discord for people to ping me if a multiplayer match shows up. As the goal today is to get as many victory points as possible on this hegemon. So the way you do that is get huge economy in the first couple of turns, and then turn that into culture grabs, victory points, city raises, dropping every wonder you can, all of it. So we're playing China this week, and today we have a solid spawn. So I did get fishing in the opening hand, so I can go here, forage the crabs or the whales in order to grow the city and get a settler out early. Although I do generally like redrawing my opening hand, but organized labor and both mining and fishing in the opener is actually a really good spot. So I lose access to the water resources, but I get a potential turn 1 settler. I don't think this is a turn 1 settler game. I think I want to get both a fishing hut and a mine out. So here we go. Organized labor, because I'm going to have to burn some cards. Getting settler out turn 1. All of my techs alive because I'm going for late game power. Let's see. Both of these are going to end up costing 6 plus 2. So fishing and a fishing hut. The first one I'm using a science bottle for 3. But the second one I have to pay the hammer cost on it. And then afterwards I have to then also spend another 3 on the mine. I think the fishing hut resource is actually more valuable than the iron. The iron is used for fighting, but if you don't see another player this instant, then we're not going to be fighting at the very start. So fishing hut, get trees flowing for a ton of money. All that money just draws cards. Warrior's too weak for what I'm planning on doing, which is going extreme late game. If I burn one more card, I can also get the mine out this turn. I don't think I'm going to need Strength. Strength is mediocre at the early game, but it's a really strong late game, so I don't think we're going to be fighting that much in the late game. And if we are going to be fighting, I can overpower by just doing sheer amounts. So even if I'm not using this iron early on, it's going to end up selling. Probably just sell it now, just to be certain. And China's unique passive, even if I'm not actively working this tile, it's still going to be giving me additional hammers to work with. So I need to get a settler out next turn, but organized labor, along with hunter-gatherers and a harbor, are all on the deck, so I think it's okay if I put this away, because I'm most likely going to be able to draw into a relatively thin deck right now. Firewood in particular, and still redraw the hand. I can get away without a library ticking the very second turn, because I could buy one more science off the market, but the turn after that I need a library going. So this really comes down to, do I need animal husbandry and astronomy? Beijing is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really good tiles to work, which means I'm going to want 5 population in Beijing eventually. Is that important enough to drop the farm? I think getting the first settler out is more valuable. But let's get the harbor working for gold income. Gold on the actual city is not going to update until next time. But I can use all these luxuries in order to draw through the rest of the deck. Find that settler. Gatherers to get the settler out for free using the 3 food. There you are. Free settler. Use the other foods to push Beijing up a tier. Can I burn anything else? No, I don't actually see any other good spots for a mine. So it feels bad because of China's passive, but getting rid of the mine is actually very valuable right now. Might have been a minor mistake. If I had put the warehouse down, I'd be getting another hammer every single turn, because I can't actually build a second building here. So, hold on to the science. I'm not going to be able to do anything with writing or woodworking this time. Is it really just put down another fishing hut and then move this guy to get more gold income? 3 poor. Yeah, I think that's the play. Because I don't really have much else I can do with these hammers right now. Holding on to the science for next turn is effectively holding on to production value. So, not the best start for a rush to 200 victory points, but I think we can still make it work. Big thing is just don't get rich. Spend, as long as I'm spending gold, the game's not going to end until I get it. So, the reason I don't necessarily like playing hardest bots is it's really hard to get your hands on wonders without conquering the bots. So I think we're going to have to start getting very aggressive against the AI now in this Hegemon round. I'll hold on to Fishing Hut until I grab this space, but that's actually going to be a lot of culture before it gets there. It has to go through all of these 4-cost spots, and then all of these 6-cost culture tiles are going to be equally distributed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to take an average of 4 of these 6 tiles, as well as all of this. So 12 plus 24. It's going to take 36 culture on average in order to get these crabs unlocked. That's going to take forever. The settler out to a spot where actually putting the settler down here cuts off several of those high value tiles and gets me access to Egypt and potentially Greece. Well, here gets me access to Rome. What bot built the best wonders? Chichen Itza is nice but not exciting. The Great Lighthouse gets you a ton of money, which is going to get me the cards I need to get into the late game. So play aggressively close to Egypt. I'm going to bet that their capital city is here, although I can't necessarily see them through the fog of war. Oh, I guess that bug is still in the game. The developer knows about it, it's going to get fixed. But so here's the Egypt capital. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 movements, so it's going to take a little bit to get there. And I put a unit here, the Egypt's going to have line of sight and going to build a unit defensively. So I actually have to do like move a unit here, then take this 3-part space. That's going to take a couple of turns to do. So does this get me there faster? I'm not going to be able to build a unit this turn out of the new city. So masonry doesn't help. I don't have access to the fishing hut yet, although cutting off these 2 high-cost tiles is going to make it effectively cut 12 culture off the cost of the fish tile. So the only thing good here in this hand is forge, so that's not good enough. Take a look. Field. I think the biggest mistake I made last time was not putting the warehouse out early. Expensive, but I'm explicitly trying to sell gold to make sure I don't trigger the objective too early, so getting the settler out for free, additional hammer production, and the potential to build a library this turn if I find something else burn, which frankly it's not looking good for burnable cards at this moment. Guarantee Beijing growing by foraging here, but now I'm out of hammers. I still haven't burned any this turn. I want charge 2 turns from now when I... this is tricky. Everyone's happy, so I don't need these luxuries right now. Holding on to this horse for charge is going to be very useful. I can burn the charge and start getting stuff flowing. Divine Decree, especially when I don't use the wonders, might be nice, but I don't impactful enough when I need early game acceleration. Need to be able to burn 1 more card to guarantee that I get in library this turn. Woodsman actually solves this problem of being 1 space too far away, because it just ignores the forest tile here, so I can like potentially mobilize charge and take Egypt. Ooh, well, I'm gonna be getting more iron in the next 2 turns, so selling it now. I would love to get another settler here and be grabbing both of these for settler spam. Can I afford to burn the fishing hut? I only need 1 science buff this turn. Is there any more cards I can burn? I think... burn the archer, but then I have to get the science bottle back because I was relying on using that science for the writing. I think that was a mistake selling it, actually. Ooh, this is hard. Cards left, hopefully one of them is not good. Guess I only need 1 warehouse this game. Did have to spend another card in order to play the foraging. Going onto Woodsman, charge, and mobilize all together is how I'm going to take Egypt and get a huge amount of extra points on the board with all of these goodies happening here. So I want to find 1 more hammer without spending the science. And get 3 gold, which is not enough to buy the science back. I actually have to burn something. Fishing hut is eventual value. Harbor is guaranteed value. Like, ooh, that's a very painful decision. I think I'm going to have to burn the fishing hut, as I've already built 2 of them, and I don't have an immediate use case. It's going to take way too long to get here and to get there. That's painful giving up these 2 resources, but I think the writing per turn, the library's output is going to end up being more valuable. The other thing I need to do is actually have a unit to play. I'm going to be able to afford it off of this iron. Can I buy any of this science? I don't actually have enough money because the science is so expensive. Let's see. Yeah, this bug. I don't know if it's a bug or just like an undocumented feature. It's really deep in the fog of war. Either way, the developer's aware of that one, and it's eventually going to get fixed. It's... they're defending for temple. So... this is the single highest value victory points I can get taking Memphis right now. And this is everything I need. I just need a tiny bit of extra food. Spending. So food, grow Shanghai. Side of Shanghai, buy one of these sciences. Build using the iron in the inventory. Other science to mobilize it right immediately. And because I had to put the pasture in the discard pile, I have to buy a horse off the market to charge them. The woodsman in order to avoid the forest. That should give me... Oh no! A settler blocked it? Okay. That's bad luck, but we're not done yet. I mean, we might be done. One card I can play, and it is potentially the best card in the entire deck right now. So this is actually going to be beneficial. It's going to effectively give me another settler because I think I can attack this spot really. So we know that Rome's here. Sitting here gets me access to an attack on Rome. That's a nice high value spot, actually. Well, there's a ton of bots all like sitting right here. Let's just get a bit more money going for a future card draw. Shanghai, so I can build another rivet. Specifically, trying to look at the discard pile, but that's okay. So Axeman is available, so this will give me a free Axeman if I draw it into it. This was painful, but hopefully I can still take Memphis next turn. Depends on what Egypt defends with. Hexarchy. Didn't get Berserker. The Scout is also defending Memphis, though. So actually, I need Berserker in order to break through this. It's Strength, so it's a little bit marginal, but like... Oh, even with Berserker, it has to be another mobilized charge, actually. Let's see. I can get the horse here. Like, this horse pasture is going to be nice. I can play an Axeman for free. I'm likely to find Woodsman again. Let's see. Cab. This is a long-term play, but frankly, I think conquering the bots is more valuable right now. Long-term economy. Go searching. So the chance of growing organized labor a second time is worth the Chinese cheap shuffle right now. There's mobilize, there's charge. I just need a unit. That takes Heliopolis. I find some way to either build a road through this forest or find Woodsman again. Foraging. Buy one of the horses off the market. Beijing's not happy, but that's relatively minor here. So there's charge. I still need something extra from mobilize. I don't see another horse pasture, so we're just foraging for money right now. Ooh. Heliopolis blocked the high value spaces, actually. Forge suddenly fell off in usefulness dramatically with that. So, searching. Harbor in Shanghai. That's... Oh, and all the horses I need to both mobilize and charge. The only thing is that I need some way to deal with this forest hex. I've got the stone. Might as well drop it. Even this one got covered up, so Forge isn't actually helping at all. So, Masonry, I don't actually need a science bottle this turn. Yeah, this doesn't help get through the forest. That's a cheeky way to get through it, actually just building horsemen specifically, but I actually don't have enough hammers without burning aggressively right now. Out a consistent iron stone, instead of an axeman. Drawing one at a time until I find it. Tactics into Pathfinder. Here, there. That's the way to deal with the forest. So, swordsman. Mobilize. Tactics. Pathfinder. When As long as this unit is here, it makes all of these nearby spaces effectively uh, an open plain and ignores the difficult terrain. Then I charge it. So, attack. That takes Memphis, that gets multiple wonders, and here's the food fishing hut that I was looking for. I'm gonna get Rabbit next turn. I'd like to get some more pressure onto Heliopolis. Unlikely that this 2-power swordsman will be enough to handle it. But I'd have to build a unit out of Beijing in particular. As I got a ping on Discord that, in fact, yay, there is an online game going. I only want to do 1 or 2 of these, interrupting the flow of this, because this is going to take a very long time. So now I want to get some more value build. I said I wanted to get Beijing really big. Well, here's the way to get Beijing big over long term, although I am starting to struggle with happiness. Get happiness through woodworking and mysticism are probably the best 2 ways to do it. I'm going to see if next turn I can go all the way down the mysticism tree to monastery to fix the happiness problem. Next turn, forge is going to be good again when I take the Memphis space. I think I'm out. So sit. Very minor market arbitrage. If you have a 2-cost resource, you can buy 2 of it back. I got pinged in the Discord, but an online game is going to happen. We've got Sir Easy and Alexander, who are strong top 20 players right now. So this is also going to have a good matchmaking rating inside of it, so winning this game is going to be very valuable. Probably not going to be able to get more of an A turn done, and I have to rush this turn with a 60-second timer. Hopefully it's simple. Let's see. Flame. Okay, you actually don't have anything going on, so I want to find charge. Both charges are in the discard. This is a nice hand, but charge is more valuable for taking Heliopolis right now. Charge. There's a charge. Charge, takes Heliopolis. Do I have another good spot for a settler? Yes I do. It's free. Play it. No longer need this. Pasture is actually blocked. That's a thing for a later time. 15 seconds, I'm not going to get this turn done. So the way that the save game system works is it's going to reset to the start of this turn. So I'm going to have to redo those steps, but that's fine because the timer is a bit much for me. As let's get into the multiplayer game. It's a continuous stream tonight, going all the way through. As Alexander, going on the official Discord, looking at this queue, has told me to... Ooh. Apparently the person with the question mark icon, the Steam default profile, this could just be like a network error on my side, is also really good, so this is likely to be a very intense game. And then Alexander on the multiplayer chat in the official Discord has told us to, quote, slay, unquote, and it's excited to see me talking about the commentary afterwards. So, hey, that's convenient. I hit the random button, but like I said in the previous video, I'm here to practice China this week as a alternate civilization. Okay, turn 1 settler spot, but the space is mediocre aside from that. Here, gets good access to the holy site and probably has the best line of sight vision. Also being a high value space. Have to find fishing. I'm going to be redrawing this hand because woodworking is the only high value thing in this hand. Yeah, this spot doesn't get access to woodworking. This one, the holy site, is basically gambling that, frankly, this area sucks, so I'd rather get a different area. So it's either here or here. This is riskier because I just don't have any good ways to get hammers onto the field if I go next to the holy site. I think this one, just for the best line of sight, is the play. Yeah, this start is looking very weak right now. The first couple of turns in Hexarchy are valuable because anything you get done on this turn is going to have the maximum amount of time in order to do stuff. I don't even have a good way to... I don't even have a single resource in sight. Wow. I only need a single food, so just getting, fishing, raiding. Rose. Let's get the settler out. Because frankly, this starting place this is the single best space in the entire Sparge starting area. It's pretty mediocre. If this hut and this these luxuries don't give me much to work with, I'm in a really bad spot actually. Like legitimately, holding on to the warehouse for mining is like an extremely high value play right now. Just because China's passive makes the warehouse work more. I actually have to fight someone and steal their stuff because of how weak this starting point is. I didn't get the safe corner like France did, so I'm likely going to share another border here, so yeah, this is an unlucky start to a game. Likely to get sandwiched from multiple sides. I've got very little production to work with. I got horses to see anywhere. This resource hut gives me nothing to work with. I'm in a terrible spot. Like, my best option I'm seeing is to go this way and pray that I find something good, or just hope I can get tons of money from this tiny little peninsula. The problem is I'm going to end up fighting France, like, virtually guaranteed. Okay, I need hammers, because I'm just not going to find any in this entire section. Is that enough to keep this hand? Science and... Ooh, I have to burn extra cards in order to get anything done. Warrior, Woodsman, gone. So, writing for science output. This lumber mill. I'm still going to grow the city next turn, even if I lose out on this extra. So the hammer boost is the best thing I can do. Didn't find settler, so scouts to just try and find some place worth settling. Luxuries, more luxuries. Yikes. Paris has the best spot to settle right now. I can't even afford to buy the iron. Oof. This game isn't looking good. Resources. Economy resources. The food's going to be exceptionally valuable, actually. I have no land-based food to work with. This stone spot, just putting the scout on top of it to try and find, like... I think I have to fight France in order to have a chance. Without any horses, without any iron. Yikes. Okay. This start is worthless without the fishing hut. I need to get a settler up here. This is legitimately the second best settler spot I can see. Settler is in the deck. Can't even forage any food on this map. Yikes. I have to go for the harbor. I get some food off of it. Actually saturated on lumber mills. That's crazy. It's exceptionally much with China's passive, making them really nice. Okay. The harbor didn't give me any food to work with. Wow. Like, I think I actually have to get a farm going just so I have food. Foraging, like, there's nothing to forage. There's, like, legitimately nothing to forage here. Like, I actually desperately need this farm. Beijing grows into the farm. Low. Can't physically get the archer out this turn. Iron is the only way I'm going to survive a potential fight. I also really needed those harbors to get me food, and I got luxuries instead. There are very slightly more luxuries in the deck than there is food, so getting a random roll off of a harbor is more likely to give you luxuries than food. Okay, stone. Does stone get me much? Not really. Like, I need this tile. This is the only source of economy I see anywhere because I can't take this. That's too aggressive. Ooh, not aggressive enough, apparently. Great Lighthouse is like my saving grace, but I don't really have a good way to build it. Construction to Granary. I don't like this hand enough. As much as organized labor is great, I need more to work with. Okay, I can get mining, I can get an iron unit out, but he's not mobilized. This makes the cities bigger, but doesn't solve happiness issues. I think this legitimately too. Although this is painful for her. Okay, so I can do something to mobilize. Not much, though. Man, this is a really bad start. Gather the stone, get some more production going. Or the scout survives. Did I actually end up building that warehouse? I didn't get the warehouse. Like, these warehouses for production is, like, legitimately saves me because I have to hold on to so many resources for the future. My grows. Can I get another burn? I can. If I burn the fort, I can drop another settler. Settler goes out to this space because I already burned the lumber mill. I wasn't able to find anything terribly useful. Oh, this gets science back. This accelerates my growth. Actually, this hugely accelerates my growth. Because I am producing enough hammers from China's passive in this one lumber mill. Oh, that's really bad. And this aggressive line of sight positioning, I actually have to kill the scout. So I now am losing out Statue of Zeus against France, any units they build, which they're going to get a lot of them for free that I don't have access to. I have to buy horses the old-fashioned way because I can't also start a war with... Ooh. At least I can... I can burn a unit. I'm getting education on the field early. I just don't have horses to work with. So, hard casting university feels bad, but is legitimately the best option I've got going right now. I need you to grab as many spaces as possible, so the culture is going here. Mysticism's not terribly valuable right now. Fishing hut would be nice. Agrarian society is legitimately better than anywhere to put a pasture. Oh man, this hand is... This starting point is so painful. Guangzhou is like legitimately city. This in order to build a unit next turn. Build as many units as possible when it shows up. Be able to charge for cheap. Yikes. So, because I spent all my turn building this university, it's 5 science per turn to be getting me found. Looks like science is going to sell for a lot at least. I haven't burned tactics yet. I haven't burned charge yet. My deck is pretty thick. Both charge and masonry this next. Otherwise I'm in a bad position, so even though holding on the tactics would guarantee the charge half, it wouldn't guarantee getting a unit out of it. Oh man, this start is brutal. China passive makes it so I can at least get something going by putting mines on all of this and warehouses in all my cities, but like, that is so inefficient from a hammer perspective. This is in the range of like that 1 in 10 game where the RNG was so bad to me that it might be unbeatable. Like right now, I am like solidly last place despite all my best efforts. And like, it's kind of painful just how little I've got to work with. That stone is not worth the price. I only need 1 university in this game. I need every single last bit of food I can get. Happy enough. Start drawing. Stone is just not worth it. I actually don't have the best, necessarily a good Great Lighthouse space. It's like here, I guess. It's like more card draw. Like this space is the only thing that holds this. That. So here's a unit. Here's a way to move it. Mysticism doesn't help me much, although Marble for future Mysticism is going to be in a good spot. Could get Engineering out, but frankly this early cheap unit is more valuable. Wise, I have turn priority. I can actually take the Hanging Gardens and get a economy boost. It does like 100% aggro France, but like going tall with just making my cities big is legitimately the best option I've got right now. This benefits 3 cities, this one benefits 2, although there's a potentially good city right here. I've already got a farm, so I don't need to reserve more money-generating tiles. Just to get this tree going? No, I need the deck thinner right now. Winery, I'm not going to get double value until I get 10 population, so it's deck thinning. More iron, just so I can actually build units. Although, spot. Go science, use it to shuffle, because I don't need the... Actually, I could use currency. Currency down next turn, turn my money into hammers. Yeah, the only thing good out of Agrarian Society right now is getting another... If I can get one more cultivate onto the winery, and then get to 10 population, then the second luxury will also be doubled. I'd like to find cultivate before I have to use currency, but 1 card out of 24. I can draw 10 of them. Crazy early East India Company. I have less than 30 victory points right now. Flame Gardens, and then get an extra population onto as many of my cities as I can this turn. It's going to take them 2 turns to get. Oh, boom. I now get a free settler. Frankly, Xion's not doing much right now. Food. Wangzhou grows if I put 2 down here. Now start looking to see if I can find cultivate. So 1 use of cultivate gets 10 population, which is actually, yeah, now they've got 10 population, both of these will be doubled. Then I can go into currency. Things to turn the money, because I do have a pretty good setup for grabbing money off of these tiles. Money gets turned into hammers. Going to survive. Ship gets these water tiles filling faster, but only if I actually get them. Zhao just working a ton of water tiles is just getting me money. Ooh. If I buy the science, I can get up to engineering this turn. I need it just yet. I will need it eventually, but not exactly this turn. So just getting value, because production is the thing that's lacking from the start. I think eight, 9 less expensive tiles. So this puts the culture in a more valuable place, even if it's less culture total. Grab the iron, and with all of my science, I should be able to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I actually do have to buy the science. So this is now gunpowder. I can't mobilize the unit, but at least I'll have a big unit to fight France with, because France's special is Imperial Guard, which is either the best or the second best unit in the game, depending on how much you value Russian Cossacks. This is that like 1 in 10 spawn where I have literally nothing to work with. This was probably a lost game from the start, but hey, thing that makes Hexarchy interesting is the fact you can have a start like this. Like, sheer variance, how many things are randomized game to game, is what gives Hexarchy so much texture. Like, if every start was identical, there wouldn't be tense and difficult games. If every start was completely useless, then there wouldn't be these crazy rush games either. The variance in the start quality, that's a really weird spot to put a city. What is Aztec doing? They don't have Statue of Zeus, right? Aztec is winning. Did not fight here. Huh, that's interesting. You can't actually make it onto that space. They have, like, attack priority? Oh, they're defending... They're defending the iron mine. Huh. This is, like, a weird one, but, like, maybe here, and I might get lucky taking Orleans, but, like, that's very much me hoping to get lucky. I don't have a consistent iron source, so I can only afford one of these. The hammer. That is a gold per turn. Hopefully I don't have a good spot to put you other than just get more money by sea tiles. Turn for them to take the gardens back anyways. So here, engineering, men. Advanced tactics is still on the deck. Let's see if we can find it. I've actually been able to find enough iron off the market to justify a jeweler, which feels crazy. It's money. Like, I've got nothing better to do than just get as much money as possible, but I'm struggling to turn it into cards. There's tactics. I can get logistics barracks here. But I need to find the charge again for that to be a good idea. Warehouse is legitimately more useful than mine right now, because warehouse just always works and also gets an extra build. See when you get down to it. I think slow pushing pressure is actually more valuable right now, so musketmen, mobilize him. He's not going to be able to make it there anyways. Could if I put a road there. Can actually get one more settler spot in the middle of here, so like Guangzhou. Shrink, regrows. I have a hit from this attack. In case Aztec tries something crazy. City. Oh, I think I have enough farms going, so actually just reducing upkeep cost of this one city is worth it. Hold on to tactics to get charged next turn. Ow. I thought France actually had a really good start, but like, the only thing going for them is the statues in the iron mine. And the fact I was able to hold on to strength, honestly. Are flying crazy right now. Terrible sign. Oh, they strength over here as well? God damn it. Yeah, there was nothing I could do this game. There's no way I could have fought Aztecs at the same time. Couldn't even fight Paris. Yeah, this was that 1 in 10 actually unwinnable game. There was nothing I could do. There was literally nothing good about the start. Okay, musketmen's in the discard. I need it in order to get Beijing back. I also need tactics though, so I can't necessarily cycle this hand. Okay, so we're burning. I actually have enough money for once. Schism is frankly so slow, I might even burn it at this point. Resistance with iron. Jupiter is better. Never be able to afford you. One of those games where I actually can justify mass produce. I can get a barracks for mobilize, but I can't actually do much with it aside from attack up Chalco. You in charge reverse is worth the most I can do now. So instead, this guy attacks here. Barracks. This hill should be able to shoot over the forest. Here. Double shot on Beijing. Points too late for fishing hut anywhere. Granary is really nice for getting tons of unit outs, actually, but I don't think I can afford it. Especially because I want to do Chukonu again. Yeah, it's physically impossible for me to win this game, honestly, because of just how bad the start was, so goodbye the entirety of that. Another Chukonu. This will defend against a swordsman, but nothing else. Yeah, this is the worst spawn I've had all week, and it's not even close. Like, there was nothing to be done against this. Like, my only chance at winning was getting an early kill on France, but, like, absolutely perfectly placed strengths here and here. And I just couldn't get any forward momentum on that. Aztecs must have gotten the most insane start ever. What is this? Where did you even get this extra promotion slot? What did you fight? Wait, what? Why'd you stop? Why didn't you make it to Beijing? What? I fortified for a zone of control to ruin the movement? That is the worst luck I have had all week. What in the world? Yeah, this was an absolutely insane start. Whoa. Okay, we have. Ooh. Okay, so we have double luxes, we have double marble, as well as iron and stone. That is like one of those instantly game with anything else going. Yeah, Aztecs had like pocket rockets going with this start right here. Like this pyramid by itself is so much value that's like wins the game on its own without even this bizarrely perfect play on defense from the French player. Like it's actually really weird at how perfectly timed their defense was to just ruin all of my plans. The strength attack at the exact moment I had strength to try and survive an attack without it. The fortify on this exact moment to make sure I couldn't retake Beijing. It's actually that's bizarrely good timing from the French player. And yeah, there was just nothing I could do against this. Let alone I couldn't do anything against Paris because of how horrible the start was, let alone against that. I mean, for what it was, like I got a ton of economy flowing, but like literally nothing to use it on because there was no sources of hammers anywhere. There was no resources to get anything going. From how bad of a start that was, I'm okay with the play, but like, yeah, that's the 10% just physically unwinnable games that you sometimes get for, hey, games of luck with random spawns and random card draws. You just get that sometimes. All right, let's get back to the Hegemon, and I'm going to finish that map before going into any more multiplayer games. I'm going to at least finish this first level of Hegemon before accepting another multiplayer game. All right. Last time I had to find this charge to get Heliopolis, and then I also had to protect Zeon. I can protect Zeon with a Spearman, although I would unit. We redraw last time? Yeah, I think this was a redraw hand because I need a charge. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, it was redraw last time. So here, Ox like defending of catapults, so random attacks have a surprisingly good chance of winning, despite only having 2 hit points to work with. Memphis to get all this stuff. That turned on a Forge tile, although Forge ended up in the deck. Let's see what can find it. Like Skirmisher more than a lot of other players do, but I think that I don't have time for it this game. Swordsman to defend Zeon. Legionnaire won't be able to get past him, at least not without some crazy play. How much money am I spending on upkeep? A lot, actually. So here, a road to reduce the upkeep of Memphis would be huge. And frankly, it's worth the hammers. It's going to give me 2 gold per turn for the rest of the game for this. That's a bit on the expensive side. But I think it's going to be worth it eventually. Anything else I need to do this turn? Get this guy into a more aggressive position, because the way that I'm going to win this game with a huge victory point count is by it. This guy to assault Athens. Can I do anything with mathematics? For this turn, yes I have. I don't actually have any good spots for pastures because the Great Lighthouse is blocking this one. So, sure. Regrow Zeon. Doesn't need this as much as it needs luxuries. just needs the luxuries more, apparently. Shanghai actually has some okay tiles to work. It's going to eventually get 2 spots for lumber mills, although I think I burned the lumber mill, actually. I think getting Shanghai big is a good idea, especially because I don't have a food source yet. Just getting somehow is the way to go. Stone source either, so I'm going to be relying on the Chinese Union unit to do. Any way to get Memphis any happier? I don't think it's necessarily worth it. It's losing a lot of food, but not very much money. I can get Beijing happier. See if Memphis steals it. Okay, Memphis stole it. Does Memphis steal it again? Not this time. Beijing grows with that. Memphis actually should grow with this. Okay, 1 shy. This was a mediocre spawn for the single-player match. I think I can make it work. Like, we'll have attack priority on Thebes from this one space over here. I can get a charge unit out next turn. I've got some pressure on Athens, and I'm surviving against Rome. Fundamentally, I want to get all of these spots because 200 is a lot of victory points. That's the goal, going for the alternate win condition. Let's see. I don't have Statue of Zeus. Actually, does anyone have Statue of Zeus? No. So I actually can build it. So one of the things that made that last game so painful was that it was taking me multiple turns and having to pay for mobilizes to get any pressure going, and I was still too slow for it. Here, I can first mobilize and then get infinite mobilize Statue of Zeus going. I burned the lumber mill, right? It's hard to remember because I played an entire game of multiplayer in the meantime. Oh, actually, I don't see the lumber mill in the burn pile, so it's going to be in this deck. Library. Stone and marble on the market means I can actually, if I get into education in the discard pile, get all the way up there. Oh, I haven't even seen the lumber mill. Okay, so like Shanghai is actually an amazing spot right now if I work this one tile. This alone is already a better start than the entire last game. Appreciate mediocre starts a lot more now. And then with Statue of Zeus going, now I can actually build a unit out of Shanghai and take Athens this turn if I find a charge. And a unit, actually. Oh, there's the charge. So, you can't reach quite far enough. And it needs to be a melee unit in particular. I have a better archer. Thank you. I don't need woodsman this turn. Anything, but against the bots. Oh wow, that guy's dying from crossfire catapults. That's yikes. He wasn't gonna make it to Athens anyways. I needed another road section. Oh. It is almost always worth to build more settlers, even here, just here. Actually here, this gets one more lumber mill space is worth it, so this ends up getting effectively a happiness. I still need to find a melee unit, and I'd also like to be able to get this education going. Although it's getting really expensive because of how many times I had to hit the draw key. What's this? Of course, we'll put a unit on Athens and claim the catapult, even if I don't get the city. How much further I can dig. Another charge. Yeah, there's effectively 3 charges in the deck. one in the starting deck, one under tactics, and then there's another one under logistics in the form of forced march. Yeah, okay. The shuffle said I'm not getting a melee unit this turn. I guess I don't need Pathfinder either. I just need units. It's actually best to get the horsemen out. Beijing. I want you working this longer tile. Xi'an stole the food tile, that's why it's feeling weird. Xi'an's actually not as important as Beijing right now. Although Beijing is not growing unless I get something onto it. Here, charge the horsemen, blame the catapults. I'll have to find a melee unit in the future. Here is that the melee unit that attacks into the space, I can start putting some pressure on it. Is it possible to get both this marble and the stone? No, I had to draw too deep and couldn't get to the... Okay. Although, here... Oh, there's city taken. Hold on to you for next turn. The stone's not going to be there next turn. Ooh, that was worth a ton. But the marble probably will. The stone was off of a random market harbor. You can tell because of the symbol on the top right from the merchant rather than from another civilization. So I'm betting that this marble will still be here next turn, that no one else is going to buy it first. Foraging hasn't been as useful. I mean, it's now useful again, but frankly, it's costing a hammer every time to play it. While this way, you spend 3 hammers up front, but you get foraging effectively every single turn. Luxuries. You need to play at least one the cultivates, which also end up in the discard right there, in order to make it truly worthwhile, but it's a lot better than it. Actually, Beijing, because the Great Lighthouse has already been built, this would be a great lighthouse space, but because I don't actually... I've got a second farm working. Beijing can now have its own. Take this one from originally. It's not worth it to burn the Chukonu. Maybe... Well, yeah, I don't have any holy sites. This only gets the base 1 and 1, which is really expensive. If you have a single holy site, then every single temple in the Empire gets buffed, but I don't have a marble source, and I don't have any holy sites to make it stronger, so it's quite holy. Which means I can actually afford to spend the hammer to move the worker and get Beijing to grow faster. Although not as much faster as I hoped, because yeah, it's losing out on food because it's not quite happy enough. Visual bug, because it looks Beijing. The happiness bar. That might actually be a visual bug, because this is saying it's losing food, but it shouldn't be. Build so many wonders so fast. It's really hard to keep up with them when they're on their hardest difficulty setting like this. Charging out the distance there. Ooh, Russia. I was half right. So the English marble disappeared from the market, which was what I was relying on for education to turn on this turn, but I instead got lucky with a random merchant one. Given the more harbors you have, the less luck that is involved, as it just gets more and more resources, because normally you just get 1 per turn on the market, but every harbor adds effectively 1 more. So the last little markets gave me the marble, secularism. If you lose Berserker, am I okay with that? The only unit that needs right now is catapult, so play it first. Then I can... This is like the only saving grace I had in the multiplayer game that was probably cursed from the start, because the sheer amount of science pulling out lets you get into deep tech without having to spend hammers. It's so valuable. Realizing I made a minor mistake, I would have liked to put this settler on this space, but I think it's okay, because we culture claimed the nearby forest anyways. Labor, get more cards out. This is going to be amazing next turn, but not this turn. Harbor, get even more. Harbors are almost feel slightly exponential because they give you extremely high rates of getting exactly what you need off the market every turn. Even at the roads, I still can't quite make it. So I actually have to pay for logistics and force march you in order to claim Athens. Horsemen could potentially charge something. Ooh, they actually left Rome undefended. I don't even need to use the horsemen, I can just use the city. Got lucky there, but a big section of skill is recognizing when you get luck and then using it. And where can this horseman go that's useful? There's still a charge in the deck, so I've got to go find it. I want you to claim this forest tile, so craftsmanship. In fact, actually, here's another good spot for a settler as soon as I take Athens next turn, so... Construction, I want to get Beijing happier. Though I don't know if there's necessarily an efficient way to do that. I'd like to keep it permanently happy, which neither needs a deep investment into the philosophy tree, which I'm going to be able to get next turn, although I'm spending that on currency. You know what? Actually, happiness is valuable for the Empire than early currency will be. So I think just get bigger so it can work more tiles. No, Memphis bigger. I want Memphis because of all the money you can bring in with the Great Lighthouse. Every single one of these spaces is adding up so much. Need to grow. Beijing grows. And I don't need any of the rest. Road help me anymore? Getting a road to Athens would probably cut off. No, it's Chichen Itza. It's going to cut off the maintenance cost for all of these cities. Let's just turn. I will have both horses and iron, so knight is on the field for feudalism. March is enough for this. This is super valuable just due to China's passive, even if I don't have a clear spot to place it right now. I would love to burn it to get another road out, but I don't think that's valuable enough. Else that needs a road? Frankly, not really. Arda's going to be in range for the Chichen Itza when I cap. Thebes is not. Oh, that's actually a really expensive one. Oh, Thebes is getting blocked by this scout right now. I don't want to move this catapult to here because this catapult's going to crossfire it. Actually, this catapult's not strong enough anymore, so I can crossfire. Then this little horseman, frankly, is best off defending Athens for a turn against the swordsman that's incoming. Best I could do on this turn. So I've been going for an hour and I haven't finished this first round of the Hegemon because I'm going for the slow version and I played a multiplayer game in the middle. I'm probably not going to fit parts 2 and 3 of this Hegemon run into this video, just because of how long it's going. Once it gets over about an hour of time, it starts becoming really difficult to upload them in a reasonable time frame. Thank you for the extra wonder. Moment. That is one thing. Some people do like playing against the hardest spots because they build so many wonders that if you conquer them, you just claim all the wonders without having to build them yourself. In exchange, it's not only harder to conquer them, but if there's a critical wonder you want early game, the bots aren't going to give it to you. Okay, thinking a bit more about the interruption game, where I went and did a round of multiplayer and got dealt a terrible hand. I'd be a little bit careful. I have to just make sure I spend this money every single turn to avoid the objective. So thinking about that unlucky game of multiplayer I just dealt with, Hexarchy, along with other randomness, other competitive games with randomness in them, notably including Magic the Gathering, Poker, Hearthstone, Catapult survives this one, so here, clear his stat. Oh, this guy had Berserker. Whoops. Sometimes you just get unlucky. That's all there is to it. And so, in these games that have a high degree of both luck and have a high degree of luck in them, it's about the long-term average more than it is about any individual game. Like, sure, that last game I think was completely unwinnable from the start, but that was one game out of more than 50 I've played this season. You'll note that of the other games, I have like a crazy high win rate, way higher than just that one-off game that we just saw looks like. It's just the nature of the beast. Like, in order for there to be good games, there have to be bad games. Otherwise, what do the good games mean anyways? So, it's about long-term consistency more than it is an individual game, and about recognizing when randomness is in your favor and pushing that luck, or when randomness is working against you and running away from it. There's only so much I could do to run away from that last one. Do I have any more units I can work with? Because I want to take Sparta this turn. I think this horseman beats this legionnaire on attack. Be close. Let's see. Wins exactly 7 damage. Takes this spot. So this is preventing Rome from getting out of here, although it's going to die to the catapult next turn, so it's not going to do much. So it's about like recognizing when it's not going to be possible to win a game and minimizing the damage, and when it's going to be very possible to win a game and that win as far as you can. Not every game is winnable. That's just the nature of the beast. So the real skill isn't about winning every game when like it's physically impossible to do so. It's about like bouncing back and just playing the next game as if you didn't take a hard loss. It's about recovering from it. It's about knowing how to improve and what you can learn off of it. In that case, I think I overvalued how important taking on France was, as I actually had more victory points than they did. Just because I didn't send a scout out to look at their specific location. I just saw they had more resources than I did, and they got Statue of Zeus before I did. If I had a scout to see that they had basically nothing else going in that pocket, I probably would have just spent more time focusing on my economy rather than trying to fight France, or as I ended up spending a good 15 or more hammers on it. That alone was enough in order to get like 2 universities out and more technology on the board. This is actually a tricky hand because like all of these technologies have a lot of different options off of them, and none of them are clearly better than others. I think I just need to put victory points on the board at this point. So getting out wonders. Oh wow. That science is selling for a lot. That feels like before the patch. It's not that much science. Because I'm working a relatively thick deck, this tutoring a military unit every round isn't necessarily as strong. Okay, a lot of people undervalue the power of drawing that military unit every turn, because in late game, if you've got like a 10-card deck, you're going to be drawing the unit every time, it doesn't matter. But like, if you're still transitioning from economy to military, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, then having just a guaranteed way to both attack and play long term at the same time is very valuable. As I'm actually running into a problem where I'm spending too little money. Like, I'm just going to get 55 gold at the start of a turn, guaranteed, unless I start spending crazy amounts right now. Like, just probably in 2 turns, I'm going to be making so much money that it doesn't matter. I'm just going to hit this 55 gold stored anyways. No, I actually kind of want my cities to be unhappy so that I'm wasting money on them. So I want them to be bigger and fewer stuff holding them back. Still, the goal is just to get more than 10 victory points a turn, and I'm going to be going into turn 10 with effectively 11 turns of victory points, so that is a good spot to be in. Because the game is getting close to the end, it ends in like 2 rounds. And potentially military dictatorship or a way to spend more money faster. Farm is going to be too slow at this point. Velocity would be nice. It would be on a bit on the slow side, honestly. Keeping craftsmanship might be valuable, so like so yes, luck exists in Hexarchy, but like if you go and look at my multiplayer win rate, which I think I can do, had to move the catapult up because I killed the first one instead of taking the anti-meta. Do like move to here, conquistador grab. $7 per turn. I need to find more ways to spend money. Find ways to be less efficient. Oh, the problem is I've got so many coastal cities working all these tiles, especially if the Great Lighthouse going. I think I actually have to burn the Great Lighthouse. That feels so weird. Not working this space here means I'm less likely to hit the 55 gold in a round. Here needs a forced march, but should be able to take something with that forced march. Really nice for taking distance cities, like here. Charge here takes Novgorod. I explicitly don't want to build roads, as those are going to reduce my maintenance costs. New and other military units are going to make things more expensive, which is exactly what I want. So here I want to charge Novgorod along with Expedition. And I also want to get this guy forced march down here. I'm not going to be able to take this city because I can't build a city there. There's forced march. A forced march on this swordsman. Makes too much money. Am I saturated on universities at this point? Yeah, I don't think I need any more new. Granary ends up making cities more expensive. It feels weird, like intentionally getting rid of some of these really good cards that draw some amazing amounts of money. Settlers cost money if you put them in bad spots, so... Oh, no, that's going to be inside Chicken Itza range, so that's actually considered a good spot. Here is a bad spot. Gone, put a settler there. Wait, no, that's still going to make money because of the water tiles. Wow. That actually is really hard to not make money at this point. Logging up the deck, I've just got too much stuff in the deck right now. This actually ends up saving money by making cities happier. Currency is going to end up being a way to spend money. Okay. I need advanced tactics conquistador. And I need times. I also need charge multiple times, so that's how I'm going to spend all this money. I want both currency, industrialism, also advanced tactics and conquistador. So I'm going to take. Oh, there's a zone of control here, so I can't necessarily pass through it. So produce, charge, onto the horsemen. This puts them on top of Novgorod, even if they don't take the city in this exact turn. I have Statue of Zeus going, so if I Conquistador Antium, I can build a unit out of it immediately, and then use this guy here. So, mass produce Conquistador. Legitimately sell everything, because I think I can build enough stuff out of Antium. So, I take a knight over the hill, charge onto this catapult so I can get a flank bonus. So, knight. Mass produce on charge the knight, draw both. Here, grab the catapult, take the swordsman, do some hit damage, set up flank attack. Then this swordsman can both Conquistador, which I actually want another copy of Conquistador. Conquistador. Both. Now that's actually really fun, cycling up mass produce. It doesn't show up often enough in multiplayer games, frankly. Mass produce. Actually cheaper. Charge. Sume. And the Conquistadors are basically saving a turn each. This guy will be available, although I do need a force march to take Novgorod with him. And now I want this guy to also get a charge. Don't think I need another swordsman, so I can sell this to make the charge cheaper. And I also need a Conquistador on him. In order to take Sparta with a turn to spare. And this catapults can and then start heading towards London. As all these Conquistadors are saving me a ton of turns to work with. Great dictatorship. Someone's already built the Arctic Triumph. Built it. Wait. Built it? Greece built it for me. And because I'm doing so much military conquest, ooh, 12 kills already on that. That feels good. Military dictatorship. Inscription onto a city that's producing a ton of money, although producing a ton of money due to the Great Lighthouse, which I'm trying to make less money. Every single one of these units I'm producing ends up costing a bit of maintenance. Every single last one. So the further I can send them into enemy territory, the less money I'm going to be making, so the longer the game. Unless I'm making more than 10-50 points a turn, it ends up being worth it. Draw. That's right, mass produce. You have done your job very well. I'm going to hold on to you just because I think that's fun. Getting this guy into position to at least look at London. If I put them there, a longbow or a catapults could attack them immediately. Why not? Some food. This grows a victory point from the population size. I don't know if you're going to starve twice, but at least this one starves only once this way. If these cities starving, because it means that they're going to be costing me more money, reducing this so I don't touch the plus 55 to hit the objective. I don't think I fully completed the thought, but Hexarchy is interesting because a game can be both. Okay, so games can have varying degrees of luck and varying degrees of skill in them. Hexarchy, along with Magic the Gathering, Poker, and a couple others, manages to have both a lot of luck in its gameplay, the way that all the geography can be laid out, your resource access, your neighbors, the way that mountains provide choke points or provide open, wide paths to attack through, the way the shuffle works out to see who gets what wonder in what order. Sometimes the most valuable card is on the bottom of the deck, sometimes it's the top of the deck. There's a ton of either random or uncontrollable elements, such as what your neighbors are going to do in the double blind. No, I made too much money this turn, unless please goes into maintenance. Went into maintenance, sweet. They'll have to get paid out and keep the units off the field. Ooh. So, there can be games with no luck or low luck, like chess, checkers, and a lot of deterministic board games. And then there's games that can have a ton of luck or nothing but luck, like Snakes and Ladders has 0 skill in it, but insane amounts of luck to work with. So games that have various different amounts of luck and skill results in these like really interesting mixes of how the games work. Let's see, you shoot the settler. I think that ends up being another victory point for the Arc de Triomphe, although I don't know if it's when it gets calculated. You move up here, catapult, move down here. Oh, you already shot something this turn, apparently. Wait, what? Oh, this was the catapult that moved in freshly. It wasn't this entirely different one. So Hexarchy, having both luck and skill involved with it, ends up being really interesting. You can have these like high intensity moments where you like praying on a shuffle, or like you cross your fingers and see what people decided to do in the blind. But you can also have like these really slow, intentional, like chess-like matches going on at the exact same time. Like weird combination of both of them makes Hexarchy like uniquely exciting. The only other way to get similar levels of excitement flowing out is with some like crazy high luck games that have just nothing but sheer dice flowing around. But if you send too much into the luck range, then you end up not having it. Then you end up just raw tactical calculation, which is kind of what's happened with chess in Go, where computers, a human has not beaten a computer that's trying its best at chess nor Go since the 1990s. Okay, here. Force March gets in the Novgorod with 1, 2, 3. 5, 6. So you actually don't make it far enough with this Force March. You just actually want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yikes! This is some really bad terrain. I burned road and all my ways to get rid of this road. In order for me to take Moscow this turn, I actually have to put down a barracks or take Novgorod and then attack at a Novgorod. Actually, that's the play. So mass produce. Force March. Here. Take Novgorod. Bravo. I still have good spots to put settlers, but frankly, it's getting hard to keep track of them all. And if I mobilize on them, it's a bit painful to work with. So, here effectively gets me a victory point because I'm getting the population back. Here gets a victory point. That gets a victory point. As I'm trying to just max out the number of victory points I can get. Spending food. The downside of high luck games, even games that have both, is that fundamentally you can just lose a match over something outside your control, which is exactly what happened that last one. So this is that's musketmen, which I do have the hammers for, but I'd rather not spend them there if I don't have to. Stone is crazy expensive. Frankly, it's cheaper to just build the Great Wall for 4 victory points. Jugonu is great, but I think it's actually too slow to get points on the board at this point. I just would like more charges. Annex is also great, especially for taking a space like this, which is perfect for East India Company. But it's not going to be great until like next turn. Okay, so swordsman, 1, 2, 3. The door and charge. That's the play. much swordsman. I actually need mass produce conquistador. Okay, with standard charge, I think I mass produce the force march instead. 90. We're like almost at this 200 point alternate win condition from going through all the bots. This guy doesn't have a zone of control. Both Paris and Orleans are undefended, so if I can get another unit out here. The mistake was not mass producing the swordsman, actually. Oh wow, look at how much money the science is selling for. I can just draw the whole deck. Any of you. Goodbye. Speaking about East India Company, actually. So, here? The touch of culture. Rid of you. Use a little bit of the crazy, valuable science in order to get this East India Company we're talking about. We're now over 200. 12 turns is what it's going to be awarded as. I'm effectively plus 8 turns right now for Hegemon score. What else we have? These are all going to be too slow, but I need to draw through them anyways. 1, 2, 3. Marble for a victory point? Yeah, science bottle for a victory point? Actually, that's worth it. But I want to shuffle the deck before I play philosophy. Inscription will make the unit cheap. I think I'm only going to need one more charge this turn. Whoa! If I can get a musketman here. Though, with how expensive science is, I don't think that's going to be possible. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get a musketman there. That would be nice to get this giant stack of catapults, though. Actually, do I have a unit that can move? Oh no, it's got difficult terrain. Ooh. Actually, I think that's fine, because I drew an extra charge. So, I don't need stone anymore. So I charge this horseman to here, then all the catapults come through. Then I send a conquistador unit. I'll have to find 2 conquistador units. The way to get that is to take Paris and then build another one there. So I only need one more science bottle for the rest of this turn. Just to draw into the discard pile before going any further. Not going to need the knights anymore this game. You can only play the best once per round. Oh. Organized labor gets me more cards. Stuff will organized labor in. Now I play philosophy out for... Oh, right. The bots took the wonder. I should have been paying more attention. Actually, yeah, if philosophy's already like that, then I don't need you anymore. I only need one of these charges? Okay, I need 2 of them, but a force march and a charge is good enough. Actually, I did need one more charge. This guy on forced march takes London. Situation where drawing for the deck is cheaper than mass manufacture? I think it actually is. So, lose combat medicine, get organized labor. Yeah. I don't need crossbow, I'm not going to use gunpowder. Vanguard is cheaper than one of these, actually. 2. Because this deck is now so thin, I can just draw my charges multiple times, so I no longer need mass produce. Mass produce is good when you have a thick deck and need to play a card a lot, but the big thing is don't have a thick deck in the first place. This guy, it's slightly cheaper to buy the horse, and because I didn't need philosophy, I can sell the science bottles. So, force march this guy with Conquistador and take London. Need to build a unit here. Wait, did I burn the swordsman? Ooh, okay. That could have been bad. And then script from a city that wasn't going to grow anyways. Now it's going to... I guess I have to give it the smallest little touch. Then conscript out of Moscow, yeah. Then move up. I'm not going to need the marble anymore. Wow, that marble sold for so much. charge, Paris, conquistador it. This guy, move up. Vanguard is slightly cheaper and only attacks once. It'll lose the unit if I send the horsemen into Kazan. Send all three of these catapults to attack. Now I need to find another swordsman. You're not going to get anything done. Sure, move you in. Why not just attack something? Sure, just attack something. Now I need to find... Technically makes it cheaper from a city that wasn't going to grow anyways. So, I think this actually makes Xeon happy. Swordsman, slightly cheaper because I could use the gold on it. Out of Paris. So, catapult, flank attack, kill, but... Oh, it does kill, but it's got Paris on it. Move to here, get the other catapults. Okay, it doesn't have anywhere to shoot. Capturing a catapult is worth a victory point. It adds up. Let's move into Paris. And now this guy... Oh, that was a mistake. I was hoping to charge into these catapults and then take Kazan. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to get Kazan this turn. But that's fine. I think that was still a really good final round. It's fine. That was still a really good final round to work with. Already done your stuff. You've moved. You've moved. Moved. All of these guys have moved. Okay. So I couldn't get one more city out of that because of this tiny little misplay right here. I need to move it onto this space. Then put down both Vanguard and Conquistador with exactly the right number of hammers. I was off by a little bit, but hey. I think that was a really good final turn and a good example of why mass manufacture isn't as bad as it looks. It only doesn't see much play in multiplayer, but when you get a repeat tons of card play out of it like that, it feels crazy good. Especially in a game where I needed to spend money to not trigger the end condition early. So the downside of going for this 200 victory point round is that it takes forever. You'll look at the length of this video at this going on nearly an hour and 45 minutes. So yeah. Hexarchy is interesting because even just subtle little things like the challenge, get 55 gold, I can just say no and take it as an anti-challenge, doing everything I can to avoid 55 gold, to just rush victory points out. Able to take back London? Whoa, the triple berserker crossbow for coming out from the bot. The strong scout winning a fight. Oh man. Oh, they took back London, but they charged too far. Like, yeah, just even the simple challenge of get some gold, you can take that as a way to rush the gold as fast as possible to save yourself time out of game. Or in this case, for the Hegemon mode, I took it as a challenge to get as little gold as possible so I could get as many victory points as possible. Here, going into turn 12, with over 200, I'm effectively... Great library. I think a great library in there somewhere. So I effectively got 11 turns of time to work with off of the score counter for this Hegemon run. Which is, that's another way to interpret it. So even just this really simple line of text adds a huge amount of depth and decision making to what you want to do in the game. This depth combined with re-rolling the map and getting the high luck, randomness, uncertainty, discovery feelings out of it, combined with the high skill of being able to see and understand all the individual plays and options available to you, is what makes Hexarchy special. The fact that I can have an unwinnable game like that, which, frankly, they're pretty rare. 10% is probably on the high end, because, like, gonna have to like back out in order to take a look at the multiplayer stats. I said I'd do it earlier. Uh, I think 10% is actually a high estimate for what the unwinnable games are. It's probably closer to 5% because, like, if you look at my win rate, even with that really hard loss, which actually didn't take that many rating points away from me because the lobby was solely high rated, but like, I'm still running a 90% win rate despite that, it's like above 90%. Like, even on the worst case scenario that some 10% of games are unwinnable, you can still win all of the other 90% going on it. Like, seriously. 65 games, almost none of them weren't first place or second place, and the second places were pretty rare. Like, even in an environment with such a huge amount of luck, you still can use skill to take control of the overwhelming majority of games. And that's why a long-term average number of games played is more valuable than any one individual role. And with that, I think this video has been going long enough. It's going to take me forever and a day to upload it, so even though there are still 2 more parts to this Hegemon run, I think we've seen enough video for today. So good night, everyone.